Hey, what is going on, guys? It is Young here, and today I'm back in another Fortnite video. And in today's video, I want to give you guys some of my best building tips and techniques when it comes to Season 7 in Fortnite. And I'm going to be going through, I would say, my top 4 or 5 building techniques that you guys should definitely have mastered for Season 7. And before we get into the video, I have a V-Buck giveaway. If you guys want a chance to win some free V-Bucks, all you need to do is to drop a like on this video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, turn on my notifications, and leave a comment down below of your Xbox gamer tag, PSN gamer tag, or Epic account. And as well, make sure you guys have me supported as a creator on the item shop. All you need to do this is go to the item shop, hit X, type in Young Humor. That's all you have to do, and you will have me added and supported as a creator. And alright guys, let's go right to the video. Alright, so like I said, I'm going to be running through, I would say, my top 4 or top 5 building techniques. And I would say these building techniques are a must-have that every single player needs to have down if they want to become a really good builder in Season 7 and just overall be a dominant player. And I really don't think there's any way around these building techniques. I think everyone should be able to learn these, and everyone should be able to get really good at them if they want to become really good at this game. And so the first one that we have, of course, is the double 90, and this was something that got really popular, I would say, early last season, or maybe kind of mid last season. And this is something that's really popular, and the reason it got so popular is because Playgrounds came out, and when it came to Playgrounds, people were just trying every which way to try to figure out how to get high ground, just trying to figure out how to build faster. And that's around the same time people got really good at editing and just everything in between. And by far one of the best, if not the best way to get high ground in this game is to do double 90s. And when you're going for this technique, it works a lot better and it is a lot quicker if you do it with the floor panel. So you see me going for the 90s, and when I'm doing the 90s, you're going to see me place a floor panel underneath. And when you do that, it makes it a lot smoother and a lot easier to do 90s. So definitely use the floor panel when you're doing them, and just the motion that you do it in is kind of just a 90-degree turn, kind of in like a circular motion. And it's pretty simple. There's a lot of tutorials on how to do double 90s. I have my own, and as well there's a lot of different ways you can do them. I've also made a video, I would say, I think it was like a week or two ago, where I talked about and I also discussed the different ways to do 90s. I believe I talked about 4 of them. There's different kind of motions and different kind of ways to do them, and honestly the way I'm doing it is the way I think it works best. But of course, everyone does their 90s a little bit differently. So this is the way that works for me, but there is other ways to do it if these maybe don't work for you. Maybe you keep messing them up. So I would say that is the first building technique that you guys want to learn. And honestly, it's a really good technique for getting high ground and just overall just learning how to build quickly, because it is very fast. It might take a little bit of practice to get used to, but once you get it down, I'm sure you guys are going to have it very well, and you're going to be able to get high ground quickly. So for the second technique, and this one right here is honestly a classic. This is probably the easiest one on the list, and it's basically all it is a wall, a floor, and a ramp. And this technique is really effective. I use this every single game. I mean, every game that I played, I use it. And it's also very effective. And the reason is, it used to be back in like Season 2 or Season 3 where people you would just ramp rush with a floor and a wall. But kind of those days are over, because you got explosives, dynamite, you got everything shooting you down. And of course, if you have multiple people shooting at you, and if people are shooting from below you, that's why it's super effective. And for me personally, I play a lot of duos, so a lot of times I'm going 2v1 against a squad, and if I'm going 2v1, I need to try to have as much protection as I can, whether that be to my sides, underneath, or above me. So if I'm getting sprayed from in front, you don't even need a floor panel, because they're going to be hitting your wall. But if they're directly underneath you, then that is when you need a floor panel. And if people are just underneath you, like I showed at the start of it, you honestly don't even need that, that extra wall in front, because you might need to conserve a little bit more mats. And honestly, it just depends on your situation, because if they're a little bit in the distance, then you don't even have to put a floor. And if they're just directly under you, then you don't even have to put a ramp in front of you. And honestly, when you're playing against duos, you probably need that ramp in front anyways. But honestly, if you want to conserve a little bit of mats, maybe you don't have a lot of mats left, then of course, using some of these other techniques, like when you're doing double 90s, you can do without the floor. So there's definitely a few ways to work around it when you're low on mats, but ultimately you want to keep your mats as high as possible. So this technique is a must learn, and honestly it's pretty simple to learn. It won't take you guys too long. There's other variations where you can add an extra ramp into it and make it like, I think it's called like a 6 layer or maybe a 4 layer, one of those two. So there's a lot of variations to it. So once you learn the floor ramp wall, using that every single game is going to be a huge advantage, and it's really going to set you apart against other players who don't use it. And as well, the floor ramp wall works really good off of double 90s. That's usually what I do off of them. And so for the third building technique, and this is something a little bit different, and it's really effective. And this is something that I use game after game. It helps me out a ton from getting down from high ground. So say you're stuck with a high ground, you need to get down really quickly. And so here what it is, you drop down a little bit, you turbo build with your walls, and then you put a ramp. I'm sure you guys have seen this before, and this is a very effective way to do it. And for those of you guys who don't know how to do it or mess it up a little bit, basically the best way to do it is to just look straight down. And that's the best tip I can give you guys when it comes to this building technique. As long as you look straight down, you're going to be able to turbo build and place the ramp every single time. And also when you're coming down for this, for those guys who don't know already, and because a lot of people, they just come down straight, you can actually go off of the side, and it's also going to turbo build as well. So here how I was building straight and I'm changing directions now, you can also drop down at different angles like that. At first when I started doing them, I didn't know about that, but honestly once I started doing it, it's made it really effective. It's been a really good building mechanic, so I can change directions when I want. And it's very effective from coming down at high ground, because if someone's shooting at you, you can get down from 6 stories, which I think is about 75 fall damage, something like that, or maybe you're even higher, 7 or 8 stories. You can get down far enough where you're not going to take fall damage unless, I would say, less than a second and a half, maybe 2 seconds. You're really going to come down very quickly, and if someone is shooting you down, you can come down off of that, and it's pretty much almost impossible to stop. Some people, think you can get shot from it, but once you're dropping down, it honestly is very quick, and a lot of players who even try to shoot you down, you're going to be down way before they even try to. And another really good place to do this is mostly, I see this a ton in the end game. So the circle's coming in you at high ground, but you need to get down a little bit. This is honestly the best way to get down, and honestly there really isn't too many other ways to get down. Maybe you could rotate your ramp, but no one ever does that anymore because you have to rotate it back. And when you're coming down as well, if you wanted to, you can also place a floor panel. You don't have to place a stairs if you want to. And the reason you could place a floor panel, because it is a lot easier to work off of. I use the stairs to get down quicker because I think it's a little bit quicker if you use the stairs because it's slanted. But at the same time, if you wanted to, you could place the floor. And once you place the floor, it's easier to move around, and it could be a lot quicker to run off of. And overall, I think it'd be a little bit better in some situations. So you really have to play it off your situations. Some situations might be better for each of them. But also if you wanted to, say you wanted to drop down a little bit, but not drop down all the way. So you can use that technique, and right after you place that floor panel, you can also place a pyramid. So if someone's at the bottom trying to shoot up at you, they're gonna have to shoot out through 2 layers in order to knock you down. So even with that building technique right there is a lot of variations that you can do afterwards that's gonna make it even more effective and gonna make it even harder for the other player to shoot you down and for you to take fall damage. So here I have one more building tip and one more building technique to give you guys, and this one here is probably my personal favorite building technique, and this is something that I love to do game in and game out. And these are just one of these building techniques that can be really flashy at times. And what it is a pump shot. So if you want to shoot the guy who's below you, but you don't want to jump down quite, and this could be if they have a grenade launcher, or if they have a scar at you, or maybe have a shotgun because they could be low, maybe you have low HP. So you're above them, you want to take a shot from below you. You want to jump out a little bit, get that shot off, and then place a floor so you can get the shot out, get the angle that you need, and as well not take damage at the exact same time. And this is one of these techniques that is very hard to read for the other player because they're not going to know when you jump out. And a lot of players don't do these in games, so when someone uses against somebody, a lot of times they're not going to be expecting it. And you're at least going to be able to do 2 or 3 of these before it gets predictable. And if you're going against someone who's a hardcore sprayer, you could also do this exact same technique, but with a floor panel and also a pyramid. And one way to make this move really flashy is a lot of times if someone's building up to me, so at this point I already have the high ground, because of course you want to use this when you have high ground. So you already have high ground on the other player and they're below you, maybe they're ramping up to you. And what I would do is if they're ramping right towards me, what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump out, take this shot, and once I put the floor panel is already going to be above them, and I'm going to edit it right away and then drop down and take another shot. So basically I'm jumping out, taking the shot, and as soon as I take this shot and land, I'm going to re-edit the floor, and then I'm going to drop down again. And this is something that's almost impossible to read. If you get that first shot off and then you already edit and drop down on them, they're going to be completely confused. They're not going to know what's happening. And if you hit your shots, you're going to absolutely destroy them time after time again. It's one of my favorite ways to do a game. It's super flashy, super fun. And it's with the pump shotgun, which is one of my favorite guns in the game besides the Deagle. And with that being said, that'll wrap it up for this video. And there's a lot of other building techniques, and if there's any of these techniques that I missed in this video that are really, really good, definitely leave a comment down below. Tell me which ones I missed and why you think it should be in here. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you guys enjoyed, drop a like. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Turn on my notification, notified for every single new video. And alright guys, I will see you next video.